guess first I just want to say that my place is a bit of a mess, so just give me some grace. We have our cleaning days set in place, but last night I've just been thinking about a lot, and I wrote an email to the people in my email list that will probably come out on it will come out on Sunday, and I was just talking about just the notion of what you resist persists, and just how real and true that statement is, or that universal law is. And and then I was scrolling, and I saw somebody celebrate them turning 30 and do something that they were celebrating turning 30, and they asked like any advice getting into your 30s, and I don't know, just all of that just was like, thoughts were gyrating, and just thinking about the fact that at this stage in my life, I'm not afraid to lose anything. I'm not afraid to lose anyone. I'm not afraid to lose an opportunity. I'm not afraid to lose a friendship. I'm not afraid to lose a partnership. I'm not afraid to lose. And I'm not afraid to fail, because I did that. I did all of that. When I think about my childhood and how much friends really meant to me, and lost them all. I lost them all trying to prove myself, and just trying to maybe over love. Like, I don't know how they would see it, but I know from the thought processes and the feelings that I was experiencing inside, like I was just really loving my friends, and just in turn being hurt by them. And I'm not saying that they purposely hurt me. I'm just saying that the experience I had just hurt me. It led to a lot of very strong, very pivotal moments for me in my life. And so earlier, I just was kind of thinking about, what this video would look like, and it just brought me to a moment that I never really thought of. And because I was saying, like, I don't care to lose anything. Like, I really just don't give a F, because I have myself, and I know myself. I know what my intentions are. I know where my heart is. I know that I have my own back. I know that if anybody needs me, that I would take the shirt off my own back, and not necessarily, not for myself, but for the person. There have been multiple times where I've done that, even knowing that I don't have nothing, and still I found something to give, and when I was thinking about the fact, I was gonna say this line that, we're born alone. And then I thought to myself, well, Well, no, we're not really born alone. Like, your mom is there, your mom is there to catch you. You're not born alone. And so that statement doesn't reign true. And then I thought to myself, well, I was a premature baby. My mom was very young. She was 16 when she got pregnant and had me at 17 and barely understood her own identity, So, of course, I have to say this disclaimer too, like, no disrespect or no ill feeling or ill will towards her, because she did her best, of course. But for me, I was a premature baby, always had a lot of energy. So you might see in my videos when I'm with people, I'm very energetic. When I let myself be myself sometimes, or anyways, I'm very energetic, and I guess I just wanted to get here, and I got here as a premature baby, and after being born very quickly, I had to stay in the hospital, and that's probably where and I can't even hold it back. Like, that's probably where I first developed this probably this eternal feeling of a loneliness. I was born, my mom was there to catch me, and then that was it. I was alone in a hospital with unfamiliar energies, and I just didn't even realize that may have had such a really big impact on me and the kind of person that I am, and probably why I just felt like I always have to prove myself to people. And I just want to say that the people who are like spiritual teachers and leaders, and the people who end up being the ones who are out here helping other people, probably went through it, probably went through their own major challenges in life. So of course, we're not perfect. We're just simply guides, and as we help other people, we in turn help ourselves. And so that's why I really wanted my YouTube channel to really be, I guess, an amalgamation of, yes, this is the work that I do, but also, I'm also a human being, working through my own things. But this whole idea of what you resist persists just really brought me back to how much I tried to not fail and lose things. And obviously we go back to our childhood, and it's really important to go back to the first moment that some of these ideas or conclusions came to us, when our brains weren't even fully developed. We could only see from one perspective, and so therefore everything that we are seeing is almost is us thinking that we are the reasons for these things. But yeah, I think that I just, in having that, not wanting to lose things or not wanting to fail, it put me in situations where just some family members were able to do certain things, and I froze, feeling overwhelmed. I froze and I fawned, because again, I didn't want to lose. I didn't want there to be any conflict. And so I unconsciously allowed certain things to happen. Um, and yeah, just leading up into my early teens, like 13, and just having just, one of my really best friends that I'll never forget. I loved her so much, and just, again, like no disrespect or no judgments to anyone, because I don't know what they were going through, right? We're all going through our own things. I'm just trying to, I guess I'm just explaining my perspective and just the domino effect of it all and how it reflected on me. But, just one of my best friends, sharing something with her mom that led to her mom telling my dad, and it led to, again, my dad being one of my dominant parents at the time, him probably feeling overwhelmed and not knowing what to do in this kind of a situation. But he didn't do it, but it led to, like all my hair being cut off. And you can imagine, like, one day you have all this thick hair, and the next day you come to school and you're wearing a wig, because I was so embarrassed. It just led me to just, again, being overwhelmed and feeling alone and not wanting to feel alone. And so then ending up in the wrong hands. And, I guess, again, the message of this all is what you resist persists. And what I was resisting was having to be alone and, I guess, work through myself. But I was a child, like, what do I know? But a lot of those themes carried on into, like, my adulthood. A lot of those themes carried on into my adulthood, like, again, losing friends, being in, a shitty relationship that, again, I didn't want to lose, that I probably needed to lose, but I didn't want to lose, which led me to being in a marriage, which, again, I took marriage very seriously, given the fact that, my parents were not married, and given the fact that I grew up an only child, given the fact that, I don't want to say loneliness, but aloneness, alone in unfamiliar territories, is kind of how I got here into this world. And while I'm very grateful that, yes, I grew up, with my parents in my life, 100%, but I think that, actually, I'm just realizing right now, I never realized how much it probably affected me as a premature baby to be incubated, like, in a hospital. My mom got to go home and I wasn't with her, and what that felt like, what I may have told myself was happening. You're a freaking baby. Like, what do you really know other than this is my mom and now this is not? But anyways, this, marriage that I was in, completely based on, I guess, limerence. I don't really know the word very well, but I see it moving around in the YouTube streets, but limerence based on imagination, and just, again, freezing and fawning so much, not wanting to have conflict, not wanting to fail at a marriage, which, by the way, again, like, the person wasn't ready to be in the kind of marriage that I was. The person was not ready to be in the kind of marriage that I thought I was in, that I got a chance to have. And, while they did show up as a provider, they took, care of me physically, but they did not know how to take care of me emotionally. And how could I have expected them to when they don't know how to take care of themselves emotionally? But just trying to resist loss and trying to resist failure really brought me through just some really serious lows in my life. And so when the Instagram message of that woman who was turning 30 was like, oh, what's a message? And obviously I didn't write on the actual post, but I think that my message is to just be yourself and to not give a fuck. I say this respectfully, is to not give a fuck about losing anything. That marriage that I was in, I lost myself. Quite literally, I lost myself. If you look at, one of my last vlogs, I talked about at 2.5 years later, kind of waking up one day and asking myself, how did I get here? It's because I really lost myself in that experience. Yeah, when you spend most of your life, I suppose, people pleasing or fawning, freezing, and not learning how to manage your nervous system, and not knowing how to even feel your emotions, what else can you really expect in terms of the behaviors, in terms of like my behavior and my choices? And so, like, I guess the last 20 something, I'm gonna say 28. I mean, since I've turned 30, or even long before that, I'll say when I'm 28 and 29, things have massively changed for me. At this point, I just don't put up with shit. I'm not afraid to be alone. I'm not afraid to be in unfamiliar spaces and places. Actually, I put myself in unfamiliar places and spaces. It's probably why I was able to just move to Ghana, having not been to Africa at all, and just move there. While yes, I did follow a deep knowing within myself, but to actually take the step forward was a big deal, and it was definitely something I was able to do. And a lot of people are surprised and they praise me about it. And being authentically me, and just being able to say that all this loss that I resisted actually ended up happening, is why I don't focus on that anymore. Actually, I accept the worst case scenario. I accept the worst case scenario long before it can even present itself. I accept it, so that way I'm not resisting it. Because once I accept the worst case scenario, which is the loss, I understand that there is so much potential and so much that comes after loss. I understand that loss isn't even really loss, if you get what I mean. If something ends, then we honor it, we appreciate the experience, and we continue to move forward and grow. the only thing that is constant is change in life. And I think the more we're able to understand and respect that change is constant, and that anything can happen. No matter how hard you try to resist it, it can very much happen, especially when you're constantly thinking about this marriage can't fail, when you're constantly thinking about, I hope this friend likes me and accepts me for who I am, when you're constantly thinking about, I hope this job doesn't let me go, like if this job lets me go, I'll be so broken, like when you're constantly thinking about, I hope I don't lose this apartment, or when you're constantly thinking about all the things you don't want to happen, you just give your brain, you give that, your internal system, that reticular activating system, to notice all the reasons why it will fail or why you will lose. And it's only going to create, or you are only going to create, a situation for it to fall apart and for you to experience this loss. So, yeah, at this stage, I don't care. I don't care if someone doesn't want to be around, if someone doesn't want to show up for me, if a partner doesn't want to show up to be, emotionally supportive, physically supportive, just, to provide as a partner should, then fuck that. If a friend doesn't want to be emotionally supportive, doesn't want to be, just physically, I think just that warm intimacy in friendships, then, bye. Do you know what I mean? Like, if a friend doesn't want to respect you for who you are, flaws and all, then bye. Because we are all flawed beings. And I think the sooner we stop resisting the idea of loss and failure, the less, or the better, or I'll say, the more we stop resisting it and we start accepting the possibility of it, it no longer becomes as heavy. It no longer becomes as intense. And then you get to, understand and accept the fact that, yeah, it is a possibility, but there are also like an infinite potential of other possibilities, and you get to focus on the possibility that you would prefer to happen rather than what you don't want to happen. You get to give yourself an opportunity to expect the better reality and to notice the better reality than to expect and notice anything after that. So, yeah, I think at this stage in my life, I'm just in a place of radical honesty. And with that radical honesty, I fully and wholeheartedly move in the direction that I genuinely want to go. And, regardless of what that looks like to anybody else. But the whole point of the radical honesty is for me to just be authentically me. And if I notice that, I'm not receiving the same kind of, I don't know if that's really what I want to say, but I guess the message is, radical honesty. The message is pure authenticity, whatever that looks like. and to just allow that energy and that frequency to, well, one, if it means that someone else can't handle it, that's okay. If it means that it's not a right fit for a job, that's okay. You know, it just allows you to step more into your purpose, and I think it allows you to open up more faith and trust in your higher self and a higher power to create for you, because not all of it is just you. I think it's a co-creation here. While we do have free will to think and to act and to make movements in the ways that we want, there is something else on the other side of that. There's something else on the other side of that I guess opens you up to a whole nother just wealth of potential that is in alignment with who you are, and that, just brings forth more people and opportunities that are in alignment with who you authentically are on a frequency level, and to bring forth the things that you need to experience in order to further discover yourself, in order to further activate your brain, your mind. We are amazing beings, and we only witness a very small percentage of that. And I think part of our experience here is how much we give ourselves an opportunity to learn how to really experience the fullness of our being. And so if you're stuck on resisting loss and resisting failure, you'll never win. And when I say win, I just mean like you'll never fully discover yourself and your potential. You will only continue to discover limits, and loss and failure is part of it. And the easier failure becomes to accept, the more you're able to win in life. And so I don't close myself off to possibility. I welcome it, and I welcome all of it. I welcome failure. I welcome loss. I welcome all of it in order for me to experience the real beauty of the things that actually stick, or the things that actually transcend time, I suppose. I don't know. I don't really know. This is a bit of a vulnerable share, but really I just wanted to say that everything I resisted, every single thing I resisted, I experienced it times 10. I experienced it times 10. And had I just embraced it, I wouldn't have experienced half of the dark night of the souls that I experienced. I mean, of course, I'm grateful because I had to. I had some ideas about the world that I developed right from birth that I realize now. Ideas of the world that probably made me feel like I wasn't wanted, or I don't know. But I had some ideas of the world that were developed very early on that probably weren't true. And so this idea, the idea really played a big role in some of the things that I experienced early on, and yeah, which put me through certain experiences in my 20s. But now, I embrace loss. Ooh, the sooner I could cut something off and lose it, I'm gonna do that. And not as an avoidant, right? Not as an avoidant, but the moment it's very clear to me that there's no alignment here, I'm not going to force myself to to try to bring alignment, because that's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. Had I, understanding that I made a mistake a bit in getting married the first time, well, I've only been married once, but getting married, had I just embraced that loss literally 2 weeks after, I wouldn't have I wouldn't have been detained and deported. I would have never been handcuffed. I would have never completely lost myself for 2.5 years after the fact. I felt like I was sleepwalking for almost 3 years, and I feel like I lost a lot of that really important time in my life, in my 20s. I really do, genuinely speaking. But while I felt like I was sleepwalking, I was still there. I was still helping other people. I was still doing my readings. I was still using my gifts, but I also felt very undeserving. I felt just an immense amount of shame. I felt so much, and I guess I had to feel it all, because I had so much beliefs about myself that I was holding on to, that I'm very grateful to say I've finally let go of. I just don't care. I don't care. If you don't like me, go find what you like in life. In fact, I will clap for you and support you when you do go find that. It's just how I feel. Anything that can be lost. Even this apartment, even where I live right now, there might come a day where I will not be allowed to live in Ghana. I don't know. But I welcome the possibility in a way, because I know that there's more life that comes after that. And the more we resist something, the bigger the snowball or the momentum of that resistance grows. And it sucks when it's thrown right back at you. So I guess, a lesson to anyone entering into their 30s, as I used to be told, is once you turn 30, or once you go through your solar return, which happens in your late 20s, it's like you've officially grown up. You've officially left your adolescent years, and a lot of the stuff you used to put up with, or a lot of the stuff you used to do, you just don't do it anymore, because you know yourself now. You know what you don't want. You're continuing to discover what you do want. And, just with the times that we're in, this era that we're in, Pluto is re-entering into Aquarius this month, and it's going to be staying there for the next 20 years. This is a whole new era of expression that we are going to enter into. This is a whole new era of rediscovering community and rediscovering ourselves. This is an era of radical truths. I mean, we can see it seeping into our reality. We can see the illusion crumbling because, you know, Pluto has been going back and forth a bit from, you know, Capricorn into Aquarius, but now it's officially staying in Aquarius, and we get to see this radical truth be expressed more and more. And yes, while we are seeing it in society, imagine what's happening inside of us. Imagine how much, you know, healing, and imagine how much is inside of us just bubbling up and waiting for us to just exhale. Really, just waiting for us to exhale. And so, I guess, don't resist exhaling. Don't hold your breath. Express yourself. Say what needs to be said. Speak authentically and honestly. Obviously, don't be disrespectful. But do your best, as uncomfortable as it can be, to just speak your truth, whatever that is. Don't be afraid of losing something or losing someone, because, or not just someone, but just losing the thing, whatever that thing is. Don't resist that, because you give yourself an opportunity to see more truth. The more we resist something, the more we become naive to certain things, and we hold ourselves in these positions. Again, it could be anything, you know? It could be you staying in your 9 to 5. It could be you just staying at this specific workplace and feeling attached to the people and not wanting to lose the relationship you have with these people, but then knowing or not being happy where you are. You know what I mean? Like, stop resisting and just accept the loss, and accept that there's so much more life that comes after it. You know, if you speak your truth respectfully, I say that again, if you speak your truth and it's not handled or respected on the other side, that's okay. Because I promise you, you will feel so much better speaking your truth, or being honest and losing, or being honest and failing. You'll feel so much better than trying to please anything outside of yourself and completely ignoring what's happening inside of yourself. So, yeah. I don't know, I think that's it for this video. I just, I don't know, it was sitting on my heart, so I just decided to turn the camera on, because I promise you, like, I didn't realize when I was thinking about what this video would look like, I just started crying before I even got on camera, and I don't know. Anyways, I'm sharing this with you. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.